Today you are going to be making a reflection tessellation. So that's the third kind in our 3 kinds of tessellations. This one is a little bit trickier than the other 2, and you will see why in just a minute. So I'm going to be working on making this tessellation, which I have already tessellated in my book here. Ta-da! And I'll show you how I made this in just a minute. So I'm going to take my 2" by 2" square, which is what we're practicing with. Remember, when we do the final project, we're going to be using a 3" by 3" square, so your tessellations will be a little bit bigger. I've already drawn my designs on here, so I'm going to cut them out, and then I'm going to show you how you move them about the square. So let's start with this side first. All right, so I've got this part cut out. I'll put it down on the table here and clear some things out of the way so that you can see. Get my piece of tape ready because I'm going to need to tape this down. Stick that right there. So the tricky part about the reflection tessellation is that when you move it, you've got to flip the piece you cut over, and then when you move it to the other side, you want to line it up on the opposite side of where it was cut. So if I made my cut starting on this corner, after I flip it over, I move it to the other side, I'm going to scoot it all the way over so that that same corner is touching the other corner of the opposite side. So I'll show you that again. I'll turn it around this way. So here I have the piece where it was cut. I'm going to flip it over. Then I'm going to scoot it across and move it to the other side so that it is a mirror image of where I cut the piece out. And then we'll tape that down, and I'll do the other side. All right. Now the second side I'm cutting here, the piece I'm cutting out actually goes from edge to edge. So when I move this one, I'm still going to flip it over, but I don't have to slide it to one side or the other because it goes all the way across the edge of my square. All right, so here it is after it's been cut out. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. All right, and then we move it straight across. And it should fit on there nicely because, again, it does reach all the way across the side, so I don't have to scoot it in one direction or the other. And then I'm going to tape this down. All right, and now I have my reflection tessellation. Now when you trace this, that part is also a little bit different than the other 2 tessellations, and I will show you why. So when I traced this, I think this was the first one I did here. Okay, so I traced around this first one. When I moved it to another piece, you actually have to flip it over and then trace it again. That's the only way you can get the pieces to fit together. Each time you move it, you have to flip it over. And it does get a little bit confusing sometimes. But as long as you look for those edges that will line up nicely with what you've created. Oh, see, I'm having trouble figuring out where this one goes. Goes right there. You can pretty easily figure it out. All right, so that is the reflection tessellation. And just like the other two, once you've traced your 4 designs, or you've traced your piece 4 times, see if it looks like anything recognizable and see if you can add some details. You could always use your laptop to help you come up with different ideas for those details as well if you needed to. Thanks, bye-bye.